Hey, it's Jose here, and I just wanted to let you know that if you have a message to share, I want to tell you about Anchor. It is free and it is an easy way to create a podcast for you to share that message. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. There are certain creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And most importantly, you can get your message out to the world and impact the lives that you were created to impact. Download Anchor right now. My name is Jose Vargas, and I am on a mission to help you create breakthroughs in your personal and professional life so that you can grow and lead your life with excellence. Welcome back to the Jose Vargas Show. Thank you so much for listening. I am your host, Jose Vargas. And as you know, the reason I'm here is because I want to awaken, equip, and empower you to become a leader worth following. And so in this episode, I am going to be talking to you about the 10 things all great leaders know. The 10 things all great leaders know. This list, I found it on LinkedIn, and I'm going to share it with you. I figured it helped me, so I want it to help you as well. So I want you to take notes if you can. If not, go back and listen to it again so that you can apply these 10 things that all great leaders know to your own life and leadership. Great leaders whom great people willingly follow in a small organization or large ones for that matter, know that the bottom line is measured by how well our teams are inspired and motivated. So what are these top 10 things? The first one is that we're only as good as the people we lead. We're only as good as the people we lead. Good leaders don't need to be the smartest person in the room. And they know that everyone around them is a reflection of them, right? It reflects on them. So the stronger the team around us, the stronger we are. And if we can't lead high performers, then we aren't one either. The second thing is that we make mistakes too. Now, I know you don't want to admit that, but yeah, we make mistakes too. Great leaders understand and embrace their imperfections, okay? When they make mistakes, they own up to them in public, they address the mistake, and they move on from the mistake. The best leaders learn from their mistakes, and they don't repeat them, okay? But they also acknowledge that they are imperfect, and when you do that in front of the people that you're leading, you'll have more respect because of it. The third thing that you need to know as a leader is that the more power we give away, the more power we have. The power held, quote unquote, right, by someone is proportional to the power, authority, and responsibility they give to other people. So power is exponentialized by sharing it with our colleagues, not by hoarding it. In other words, if you give your power away, the authority away, for others to make decisions within your organization, for others to make decisions within your team, your leadership is going to expand. But if everyone has to come to you to make a decision, I'm telling you, your organization, your division, and your leadership, for that matter, is not going to amount to much because you're the bottleneck. Everybody has to come through you, okay? So the more power you give away, the more power we have. So make sure that you're delegating power, you're giving power. And then number 4, staying well and fit is part of the job. We can't be too busy to stay well. I've met so many, countless of leaders who are leading, but yet in their personal life and their health, they're struggling in their health. Their health is failing. They're, quote, too busy to go to the gym or too busy to work out, too busy to go for a walk, too busy to prepare their meals. Listen, leading well takes physical and mental stamina, okay? And if we're not fit, neither are our team. So take care of yourself. Take care of your physical, your emotional, your mental health, because you're going to need it in your role as a leader if you have not discovered that already. Number 5, we can't fix people, okay? We can't be fixed If we try to fix people, we're going to fail. So oftentimes we go into leadership roles because we think we're going to fix people. But no, good leaders understand they need to instill goodwill, right? They need to help their people identify their strengths and then play to their strengths. We don't fixate on what's wrong with people, but provide constructive feedback, okay? And really try to help that person see what their strengths are and how can they bring their strengths to work. One of the things that we do at Jose Vargas Enterprise LLC, reachinghighernow.com, is part of what we do is we also do a training where we go into organizations that are experiencing conflict, or even organizations that are not experiencing conflict at the moment, but they want to just work well together effectively as a team. And what we do is we help each participant in the training understand what their core motives are, what their strengths are, and how can they bring those strengths to work effectively, and how if they overdo those strengths and overcommit to those strengths, how that can cause conflict for them and their teammates. So it's a powerful tool, but again, you can't fix people, right? You can only help empower them and release them in order to do their jobs effectively and more powerfully. Number 6, over-communication is impossible. Okay, the telephone game is the loudest in a vacuum of communications from leadership. Great leaders communicate with their teams early and often, and they reinforce their points repeatedly, not worrying if they're being redundant because they know they can't be. I want you to understand that in your leadership, vision always leaks. Okay, vision always leaks. I learned this years ago by a great teacher. Vision always leaks. So because it always leaks, you have to continually talk about the vision. You have to continually communicate what's important to you, what's important to the organization, what is expected of everyone. All right, because guess what? People have lives outside of your organization. People have lives outside of your business. People have lives outside of what you're doing. And yes, it is important, right? What you're doing is important and it's critical, and you want people to be fully engaged, absolutely. But at the same time, sometimes people, they're going to drift in that vision because something is happening in their personal lives. Okay, so they have to be gently reminded, hey, this is why we're here. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. Okay, so over-communicate, and over-communication literally is impossible. So make sure you repeat it over and over again. Number 7, we can't change people's lives and not know it. Okay? Sometimes in our careers, people who have worked in our organizations will email or call or meet us and tell us that we've changed their lives. Okay, that we've had a great impact and a profound impact in their lives. And I really do try to do this to the people who've impacted my life. Great leaders probably won't remember that moment, but we know and we're humbled that we can have that impact. And I don't know about you, but oftentimes when you're in the busyness of your role as a leader, trying to make a difference and making an impact and leading your organization, oftentimes it's so encouraging to hear from the people that you're leading, from your teammates, from your organization, from the members, that you're doing a phenomenal job and that they are being impacted by the work you're doing. It's encouraging. It's refreshing. So not only is that important for you as a leader, but make sure that you do that to the people in your life who are impacting and influencing you in a positive way. Call them, text them, email them, let them know how they're impacting and influencing your life in a positive way. The next one is number 8, is people with lives come to work. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying, right? People are people with their own backgrounds, their own experiences, their families, their interests, their problems. And guess what? They come to work. And when they come to work, they also come to work with all that baggage. And expecting them to come to work with none of those things in their life is unrealistic, and it's really unproductive. All right? It's really unrealistic and unproductive. Great leaders understand that life is dynamic and that the best organizations in the world accommodate their team's lives and shift constantly to make it work. Okay, I hear stories from great leaders like Michael Hyatt, okay, at Michael Hyatt and Company, and how they literally just recently went down from working, I believe was 8 hours a day now to working 6 hours a day. And their productivity have not been impacted. As a matter of fact, they're still producing, they're still doing excellent work But guess what? Because when the leader cares for their people are going to care for their leader. When you truly show that you care for your people are going to show up and they're going to perform and they're going to do a great job. All right. And I remember very clearly, I had a job one time and my wife was going through a situation where I had to be home. We just had our first child. And I remember sharing this with one of the leaders there. And they could care less. They said, well, I'm sorry, but you have to be here. And it's not like I was not replaceable. That role was a multifaceted role. There were other people who were playing that same role that I was. And so it really left a bad taste in my mouth because I understood that they didn't care for me at that moment. And that's what happens when you begin to show people that if you don't care for people, they're not going to care for you or your organization. Okay, so make sure that you care for people, understand that people have lives outside of work, and try to literally just accommodate whenever possible to make it work, not only for them, but for the whole vision of the organization. Number 9, we can't do everything well. I know this is hard for you to hear, but guess what? You don't know everything. Neither do I. No one is perfect. No one is a straight A student in a job, in every job at all times, okay? Great leaders understand what they're good at, and guess what? When they shouldn't spend their time in particular tasks, right, or responsibilities. They also know that there are greater people out there who can do those tasks and those jobs extremely well. There are certain things that drain you that actually fire up someone else. There are certain things that are boring to you that are actually interesting for someone else, okay? And so there are certain things that you're good at, and there are certain things that you're not that someone else is. So give it over to someone else because they're going to do it effectively, efficiently, and they're going to be empowered with that task or responsibility anyways, okay? So again, that goes back to point number 3, that the more power you give away, the more power you have. If you give that person who's passionate about that particular task that you're not necessarily good at, that person is just going to feel empowered because you are literally empowering them with decision making. You're empowering them with leadership. You're empowering them with that task, and they're going to thrive in your organization. And the 10th and last one is this. People will leave us. People will leave us. When I was pastoring a church, people came and people left. And you get attached to people and you don't want to see people go. But the reality is that people will leave. And that's okay. Okay, expecting that your team will stay with you throughout their careers is foolish. Okay, great leaders know that their influence increases actually as their people go out into the world as champions of their organizations. And they do everything that they can to foster great alumni relations. Okay, so the same way that you treated them when they came in, make sure that that you treat them with the same enthusiasm, the same demonstration of faith and passion when they leave, because they're a reflection of you and your organization if you empowered them while they were with you. All right, so those are the top 10 things all great leaders know, but I also want you to know this. I want you to know that it takes time and it takes work. But together we can become a leader worth following. You don't have to remain stuck. You don't have to put up a front, but you can take actionable, practical steps to get breakthroughs and not just accept your life, but lead your life towards excellence and towards impact. Because isn't that what we want? We want to have impact in this world, and we want to impact the people in our lives. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode today. Please share this podcast with another leader. Leave me a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and I'll see you soon.